This is a Dragon Blazer production, and I am the little boogeyman.
All right. Coming down the aisle, your podcast tag team champions of the world, Boomer and Blaze.
You know, all this talk about Edge coming back, I don't know what happens here.
Oh, yeah? Ah.
Yeah, I don't...
Boom! That's what happens here. Spear.
The rated R superstar is in AEW.
Did he just say superstar?
Superstar. It just has his, yes, folks, right there. Adam Copeland, All Elite.
Your move, Christian Cage. This is nuts.
Christian was trying to sell that he's not super stoked that his best friend is in AEW.
Believable.
Yeah.
What a moment. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Boomer and Blaze Show. I wanted to start with this, and we will get to it in a moment, but what a moment. It's 2023. And there's Adam Copeland for the first time ever in his career in a ring with Sting. Is that not crazy? Like,
That was look. That was actually my first time actually watching that entrance.
yeah,
I've been told about it. I heard about it. I haven't watched it.
yeah.
That was I kind of held off, and I'm glad I did.
There
It
you
was
go.
cool to
Yeah,
watch on the
yeah,
show.
yeah. Very cool.
But
Cool moment.
like I
Big
said, I
deal.
didn't know if I'm sorry, Adam Copeland. I'm being like Kenny Omega and
And
MJF
MJF.
here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I
Tony
did not.
Tony Khan's
I
eyes
didn't
got like
know.
this big, but yeah.
I don't know if he got. If I don't know if I knew that. I did not know whether he worked with Christian or attacked Christian, which I guess he technically does not attack Christian. He attacks everyone else in the ring.
Yes, everyone else. Yeah, Christian
So,
hightailed it out of there. So there you go.
indeed.
Big stuff. And welcome to another exciting edition of the Boomer Blaze Show. I am Boomer.
And I'm Blaze.
And I just want to start off by showing that. I'm glad you hadn't saw it yet. It's a huge moment. We're going to get to it in a moment. Big weekend for NXT too. So we have some wrestling to cover. We got the NFL and back. We almost forgot about this. How could we? But this week it's back. Video game review. Been a minute.
Woo!
And this is a good year for video games. So excited about that as well. But like always, we try to stay on top of what's going on in the world. So we're going to start with something that was a very, very big topic this week. And after a very long time, arrest has been made in the murder of Tupac. That is a true sentence I just said.
Tupac Shakur?
Tupac Shakur, an arrest has been made in his murder. And you're talking about something that happened in 1996. But listen, we do what we want on the show. And if you know what? I don't care if I offend anybody. I'm going to do what I always do, okay? So here's some advice. If you decide to write a memoir about your life, you may not want to put in there that you were in the front seat and provided the gun for Tupac's murder. You might not want to put that in your memoir, but he decided to. So, and this is Dwayne Davis, who was arrested. Not only did he write this stuff in his memoir, he was doing an interview and confessed all the same stuff. A little background to it, though, is the man is looking at 46 years in prison for drug-related stuff. So I guess he's thinking if he maybe if he talks, he won't have. I don't know how you think confessing to murder is going to help you with your 46 years you're facing, but hey, whatever.
Well, you know what? In fairness, it doesn't look like that some young spring chicken.
No, he's not.
He's not getting out of prison anytime soon.
No.
And if he's going to prison anyways, I take it this is a relatively new case that he's just now going to prison for those 46 years?
Yeah, this is some drug-related stuff that just came up.
So why the hell not just admit to it? Like, you admit to one of the biggest mysteries, well, in rap history, I don't know if of the world, but, but this is like a big deal. Like, with Tupac's a big deal. He was in that time.
And what's interesting is I've never seen it myself, but I think it was 2018. It said they came out with that special, and Netflix had it on there too about this murder and the investigation and all this. It was some kind of documentary or a TV series, whatever. But anyway, that made him reopen up the investigation. To be fair, police don't believe that he actually murdered Tupac, but he was in the vehicle. He admitted that he provided the gun, so they feel that they can find out who actually did it. When he was in the interview and he admitted he was in the car and all this interview he did with whoever, he said he would not reveal, he wouldn't say that name because they don't do that. This guy is a legit, has a background of being a legit gang member. He used to hang out with the NWA back in the day, not the wrestling league, but the rap group,
So nope, not saying that. Yeah, NWA, that's fine.
Yeah, NWA, yeah.
So, is there any connection to Biggie Smalls? Is that official?
Well, see, they still haven't brought that up either because a lot of people always believed that was a retaliation, but nothing's been mentioned about that side of the coin yet. So
he didn't give an explanation, just that, hey, I provided the gun.
There's some history here because back somewhere, okay, so this guy's son at some point got jumped and beat up by Tupac's crew. So there's a tie somewhere. Like his son was part of Tupac's boys or crew or whatever, and he ended up getting like beat up for some reason. So there's a little bit of history. I don't know it all yet. More will come out, later. But there's a little bit of tie in there with gang related stuff and his son being on the wrong side, because people don't want to believe it, but this is fact. In 1996, like this was real, folks, and Tupac still had gang ties, even though he was this big famous, rapper, and that's how this all kind of got out of control, and how both of them ended up dead was because of West Coast, East Coast, all this fighting. So, but regardless, I mean, hopefully, the family can get some peace out of this if they can find out exactly, what happened. And like you said, the guy is he's not a spring chicken, and if you have no way of getting out anyway, I mean, why not, why not, right?
Dude just got his 15 minutes of fame. He wasn't getting that with the 46 drug counts. Nobody gives a shit about some old guy going to jail for drugs. But you admit to being part of Tupac's murder?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
There's your 15 minutes of fame. You become, not that it's good, but,
and it could be another thing
of connected to Tupac's death. And I'm assuming he's a nobody. I guess I'd never heard of the guy.
He wasn't like he was just a posse guy. He was never a rapper or anything like that, but he hung out with famous people. So he was just, at one time, like I said, he was a gang member and he was probably doing dirty stuff for a lot of these people. He was probably just one of their, one of their guys, one of their, whatever you want to call them. So there's some tie-ins. Like I said, it'll all come out. I can't talk today. I'm sure more will come out later as it develops, but, yeah, still huge thing. I honestly never thought that they would keep investigating it. I just figured we would never know. But like I said, a couple years ago, the case got reopened, and here we are. We have at least one of them. At least one of them. Apparently, there were 4 guys in the vehicles. So whether he's going to reveal anything else, who knows? So
for me, that sounds like it's a win-win for him.
Yeah, I mean. It is. And maybe it's a deal too where, obviously he's not a spring chicken anymore. Maybe he has some health issues too. And a lot of people, when they know they're getting close to the end, feel the need to confess. And not just, I know all of us haven't committed a major crime, but it's a general thing as a human being. A lot of people want to get stuff off their chest if they know they're towards the end of their life. And maybe he feels some guilt. People do change. I know people say people don't change. But again, he's getting older. He's done a lot of bad stuff. And maybe he just needs to confess. I mean, it happens sometimes.
I don't think it's guilt.
Well, I mean, it's guilt. The fame doesn't. The fame doesn't really do you anything either. You're going to be locked up. Like no one's going to. I mean, you're not going to get rich by this. I don't know why.
You're immortalized.
I guess
he's going to die, and his name will be known. It may not make sense, and maybe, and honestly, that fame could also be an issue. If you have any of Tupac's crew still in prison,
he could be an egomaniac. I mean, it could be it might make him feel, like you said, maybe the celebrity of it is like,
Well, some people do things for lasting legacy, whether they are famous or not.
Because like I said, everything I read, he was pretty high up in the gangs and stuff. So for him, this is a way to cement his legacy. Like you said, either way it works out, it's a win-win for everybody. Whatever he's getting out of it, that's fine. But it's giving something to the family.
I don't think it was a win-win for Tupac.
Well, it wasn't, but you know what I mean. I didn't make me look bad like that. I didn't mean it in that way. Sorry, but yeah, it wasn't a win for Tupac. No, not at all. So we'll see what happens out of this, and maybe we'll hear more about maybe something will happen in the Biggie side of it too. Because I believe they have to be tied together. I do believe it was a gang war and it was a retaliation. That's my opinion. I'm sure I'm totally convinced somebody on the Tupac side of things killed Biggie in retaliation, but maybe we'll find out. Who knows?
It's kind of weird hearing that this might have been partially caused because Tupac's crew beat the shit out of his son. And it kind of really doesn't, it kind of makes me sympathize with him. I mean, if my son got his ass, did his son live? I take it
he did, but again, it was all gang related stuff, and that's retaliation in the gang world is is a normal thing. It
I
wasn't
guess
just
we're all.
it wasn't just the fact he got beat up. From everything I understand, like I said, I don't know Crips blood, whatever, but his son should have been with this gang and instead chose to go, with Tupac's gang, and that was a different gang. So not only was his son on the wrong side, but then he gets beat up from the people that he joined, so it was just all, like I said, gang stuff,
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes. But at least arrest was made, and we'll go from there. Uh, we shall see. We shall see. So there you go. That was the big pop culture news of the week, or whatever you want to call it. And I guess next we can talk about how we don't know why we're still Bengals fans. But yet here we are. I think
it's a little painful.
It's a little early in the day, but I am off today. I don't know why I don't have a drink right now.
You know what? I might get one now that you bring it up.
Oh gosh, I'll tell you. I'll stick to my coffee, but folks, it's
I just got to host trivia, and I feel like that's a job better with a little tipsiness.
But I'm going to say something right away. I'm going to bitch about our fellow Bengals fans right away before we even get into this.
Oh my God, they're ridiculous.
Because now, ooh boy, I'll tell you, wrong show. Listen, what's happening right now is not the coach's fault. Okay, Joe, what's hard to understand about, I guess it kind of is. Joe Burrow is not 100% period. I don't care if you bring back the best coach ever in the NFL right now, it wouldn't matter. Joe Burrow's not 100%. So until Joe Burrow's healthy, or until they take him out and let him heal, there's going to be issues. I don't know why you're trying to blame the coaching all of a sudden.
I can blame the coaching a little bit. And I'm not saying anybody should get 100% of the blame, but the coach should talk to Joe Burrow and be like, hey, Joe, I know you want to be out there. I know you're a competitor. We need you to sit down and we need you to heal. Let us handle it. And I know Joe Burrow is a pushy person, and I've heard stories about how Joe is pretty much pushing the issue to go out there. And I get it. He's a competitor. That's one thing I love about Joe. But what might be best for the team is for them to force Joe Burrow to sit down. I would like them to bench him and at least until after the bye. Give him a couple more weeks to relax because he got killed out there against the Titans.
Ugh.
The Titans saw he could not move. The Titans blitzed, and he may not have gotten all the sacks, but he was getting knocked down over and over again. They saw blood and they charged.
Yeah.
And if that's all any team has to do, we do not need Joe Burrow out there if he can't move out of the pocket, if he can't avoid the pressure.
No.
With a blitz.
My belief, though,
you need to come up with a better game plan for it.
My belief is, though, and I could be wrong, I'm just saying this is my belief. My belief is it's not our coach. My belief is Mike Brown just paid Joe Burrow, and Mike Brown wants Joe Burrow on that field. And I believe that's possible.
That's possible
that's
too.
My belief. Yeah.
It could be everybody but the coach getting to say Joe Burrow, Mike Brown.
That's my opinion. I don't think it's Zach's choice. I have heard too that Joe's stubborn, but I think that there's enough respect there that if Zach said, "Hey, we should set you out," he would. But my belief is Mike Brown's probably like, "I just showed him the money, so he's got to be on that field." Again, the business side sometimes, that's what happens. It's all about the money, right? It's all about the Benjamins. So
honestly, what's pissing me off more than the coach thing, and like I said, I understand the coach frustration because I think that Zach Brown.
Doesn't like my chicken fried. Cold beer. Anyway.
You know what? Zach Brown works because that's Zach Taylor and Mike Brown together.
True.
Somebody needs to step up. I do believe somebody needs to step up, put their foot down and say, Joe, sit. We need you healthy for the rest of the season. We can get away with... We can't do any worse than fucking 3 points against the Titans and the Browns. I mean, there was a little bit of life in the other two games.
I already told you my opinion. I would throw this. If they were willing to set Joe to let him get healthy, I would just throw this whole season away and be okay with that. seriously, I want a healthy Joe Burrow over let's play him until the man's so destroyed he can't play, and then we'll hope he can have 15 surgeries and come back and be the same guy. That's just my, that's my
I think
view
if
of it.
nothing else, they should. I mean, they should have benched him. They should have never put him in until he was 100%. But
Yep, but I understand they kind of had to because but again, now that kind of can be blamed on the coaches and all that we didn't have a proper backup in place when the season started, and we should have. I mean, so
But we have AJ McCarron out there.
now
Why not use him?
We do now.
Why not use him?
But
no, I think if nothing else, at the very least, there's I think 2 more games and then the bye. That gives you a 3-week window to rest up and get closer to 100%.
Yeah, pull him right now. Pull him right now.
Exactly. You should have benched him halfway through that Titans game because he was getting killed.
Yeah, and Joe's young enough that that's all he just needs a couple of weeks. I don't think he needs months off. A couple weeks, maybe a month. Like you said, if you set him now, that would give him 3 weeks of not playing.
Yeah,
that could
and
do a lot.
We got the Cardinals and I forget the other team, but we don't have a hugely difficult schedule the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
So bench him. I think AJ McCarron could do a little better, and possibly get us a win or two there. And then if we can get a couple wins, we'll be at the bye week with maybe 2 or 3 wins, 3-3.
Yeah.
But even if we get those wins with Joe Burrow, if you kill him out there, I just think they need to bench him.
Yeah, he needs to be healthy. He needs to be able to move. The reason that we went to that Super Bowl was because Joe was mobile and could get away from being totally destroyed.
And I don't really think it's the line. These are the complaints I have with the fans. There are fans out there being like, "Oh no, Joe Burrow's just another insert quarterback that got a lot of money and then started doing crap."
They're trying to give up on him already. Yeah, like
all of a sudden he's bad. He's crap now.
Yeah.
I watched too much amazing play for the last 2 years, 3 years, whatever, to believe that he just decided to be complacent because.
And come on, folks.
I legit think this injury is causing some issues, and it's not that he doesn't want to play. And I think the problem is Joe wants to play, and he shouldn't.
Yeah.
I think it's just his competitive nature.
Even on ESPN, none of those guys are saying that Joe Burrow's a bust now all of a sudden. They're saying the same thing we are here. He's not 100% healthy, and that's going to affect your game. That's just all there is to it.
I'm talking about fans.
I know, that's why I'm saying that, though, is like the fans that don't know anything and are morons, and the experts are saying he's not healthy. That's just all there is to it. So I was just using that to compare to the geeks that are in the basement going, Joe Burrow's a bust now. We wasted all our money. It's another, whatever.
Well, and then there's the other fans that are also pissing me off that are saying, "Oh, our offensive line is still shit. Joe Burrow is getting killed because of the offensive line. We need to just accept that number 1 pick and just draft another offensive lineman." No. Okay. If you look at the stats are 10 times better than the last couple of years.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season, he is not getting sacked as often.
No.
In that Titans game, yes, it looked bad. But that's because they were blitzing every freaking down.
Yeah.
We just didn't have an answer for it.
And they were doing that because they know Burrow's not healthy and not mobile.
They know Joe Burrow
keeps going around, kids. It's not. Yeah. You know who's a bust? Yeah. Joe Burrow's not a bust. You know who's a bust? The worst team in the NFL right now is the Giants. We could be them. And guess what? Daniel Jones is healthy. Daniel Jones is healthy and got paid. He just sucks. That's a horrible team. We have at least a reason our quarterback's not healthy, so it could be worse. Like Zach Wilson's different. The whole Jets thing, like Zach Wilson wasn't supposed to be the starter, right? So of course he sucks. We know that. That's why they got Aaron Rodgers. Daniel Jones got paid to be a star, and the Giants are horrible. They are horrible. Yeah, could be worse though. I mean, you got the Bears. The Bears are worse than the. There's a lot of bad ones out there. But quick shout out there to our boy CJ because he was a Buckeye. Like you're gonna make me a Texans fan real quick here because CJ is tearing it up. Look, it's good to see. We've talked about this. Ohio State quarterbacks. I know it's only his rookie year, but they don't transition very well. And so far, CJ's looking. And at first, I was like, "Oh, great, he's going to the Houston Texans. That's wonderful." But it seems like things are going good. So,
Hey, anytime, it's always nice to see that Buckeye boy beat the crap out of the Steelers.
I was just worried about him going to Houston because the last few years the Texans have had, and I'm not talking about like the players themselves, but there's been like front office problems and head coach problems. So I was worried about like the franchise itself. Obviously, we all know that when you're a great college player, you're going to go to a crappy team. We know that. That's the way the draft works. But I was worried more about the franchise itself. But it seems like everything's going good, and CJ's looking like a star. So,
well, you did bring up Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson faced a team today, this week, and actually did pretty darn well against that team. But there's something else we need to talk about with that team that they faced.
Oh yes,
they faced the Kansas City Chiefs,
which have now become.
Let's talk about what everybody's talking about. Team Sweltsy.
How could I? I almost forgot about Team Sweltsy.
Of course, we're talking about DeAndre Swift and Jason Kelce of the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's definitely who we're talking about. Yes,
absolutely.
The NFL's loving this because now you have people. If I say girls, is that sexist? I'm just saying that don't know anything about the NFL, but boy, they're watching it now. Travis Kelce's now the number one selling jersey. Look, this is kind of like the Super Bowl, kind of like we talked about, right? At the end of the day, it's a business. So if people are going to start watching that never watched before because Taylor's at the game,
people are complaining. People are complaining, and I've even heard people complaining that they're not going to watch NFL anymore because of the whole Taylor Swift thing. But Taylor Swift, in my opinion, is one of the best people in this world. She's right up there for me with I love Dolly. I think Dolly Parton is one of the best best human beings on this planet, especially with that imagination book club that they do for kids.
Right.
Giving kids free books every month just for signing up. That's awesome. Dolly puts her money and she does great things for the world. Taylor's pretty similar to that. She's always giving a lot of money to the people that work at her concerts and stuff. She gives them bonuses and stuff. She wants them to know they're appreciated for helping her out. I've heard when she goes to a city for a concert, she donates to their charities when she goes there. Like, she's legit just a good person. She also goes around and she tries to advocate for young people to vote. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't. I'm just not a fan of her music, but I have nothing personal against Taylor Swift. Not my thing, and stuff like.
It's not my music preference either, but I'm just saying that she herself is a good person.
Yeah.
Like, there's all these celebrities, you're hearing about them doing horrible things.
Yeah, I never hear nothing bad about her.
Tell me a horrible thing Taylor Swift has done.
Nothing except sell arenas out everywhere, I'll tell you that. Her concerts are always
horrible? That's a horrible thing?
That's not a horrible thing. Like I said, just not my type of music, but hey, this right here, who cares? Let these guys, let them be, be Team Swelsey, who cares? Like, there were people saying that the refs made up calls. I guess some call at the end of the game, people are saying shouldn't have been made, but they did it because they didn't want the Chiefs to lose with, what.
I kind of sort of passed out, so I did not see that. I did hear something about that.
Yeah, I heard something about a call.
I dozed off. I was tired.
Yeah.
I tried watching it, and I passed out watching the game.
Listen, bad calls happen, people. It's just coincidence. Like, we're not going to... The conspiracy theory stuff. You don't have to tell us about it. Go watch the end of the Super Bowl we were just in a couple years ago, and there was a clear offsides that didn't get called. Just saying.
Yeah, we're Bengals fan. We complain about. I can't even knock them for complaining about it. I don't know how egregious the call was. I didn't get to see it, so
I'm not going to say anything. It's possible.
But hey, the Jets have life. That if nothing else, that they have life. They fought back against the Kansas City Chiefs. They intercepted Mahomes, I think, twice. Made him fumble once.
Yeah,
like, their defense got at it.
Hey, it might have been that
which
Shannon.
Is disappointing for me because I was expecting I was hoping for a good game from Patrick Mahomes because I have him on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
And I wanted that win, but it did not happen for me.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. Yeah, so there you go. I think that's all our NFL, if I believe. You got anything else in NFL besides being on Team Swelsey now? I heard she's getting the cover of Madden. Did you see that on Facebook?
I did. I shared it. You saw it online.
You did share it. Yeah, that came from you.
It was me that you stole it from, guys.
Yes.
You stole my meme.
I stole so many memes I can't remember, but
yeah, you stole my meme. I definitely saw it.
Just wait for it, folks.
That was funny.
I think this should be the cover next year. This could be the collector's edition of Madden. But anyway, right? Somebody's got to train. All right, well, I think that's all of NFL, and we can move on to wrestling. All right, so we're going to move on to the weekend of wrestling, but see, we're going WWE this week first for a reason, and we'll talk about No Mercy a little bit. I don't watch a lot of NXT, I tell you that all the time, but I actually saw some of this, and I want to give a little applause to NXT. Good show they put on. Look, if you can make me care about a Baron Corbin match, then hey, I'm just saying, like,
points.
I don't know if I shared the video on our page or not, but the Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker both got special entrances. Braun come out with like a dog head on. Had the old bite me on his singlet, with the red lights and everything. Corbin came out on a motorcycle with a face cover on, but it was a great match. I've made it clear more than once, I'm not a huge Baron Corbin fan. Baron Corbin fan, but those two had a really good match, and surprisingly, Corbin beat Braun Breaker at the pay-per-view, so I found that interesting. We had a new champ crowned when Trick Williams beat Dirty Dom, and you would have liked the end of this match because it was the old the heel tries to cheat, but the babyface ends up cheating kind of thing, because Dom went to hit Trick with his title, and Trick ducked and then came off the rope and did like a flying knee, kind of like Daniel Bryan does, and the belt was right here, so the belt actually smacked Dom in the head. And then Dragon Lee was the enforcer, and he came into the ring and did a fast count, and Trick Williams became the new champ.
I was going to say, other than the fast count, if Dom was holding the belt, then it's not really him cheating. He's the one holding the belt.
Right. Trick just took advantage of a situation. That's all.
Yeah, that's not really cheating. Just taking advantage of your scenario.
Right. Oh, but by the way, it doesn't matter because Dom won the title back last night on NXT. So there you go. He is now a 2-time North American champion. So yeah, Dom won it back last night on NXT. So I don't know exactly what that title's little switch was about there. That was originally supposed to be Mustafa Ali in that match, but of course he got released in that big fire of and Becky Lynch retained her title. There's a new NXT champion. It was a good match. I don't know a lot about Drag Off because I don't watch enough NXT, and I'm not hating on either one of the guys, but the world title match just didn't quite feel like a world title match to me. Rage would kick my butt. I'm just being honest. Like the men's, I don't know. And I don't want to say it's because they're both kind of smaller guys because that seems unfair. But maybe it's just the care. I don't know. It was a great match. I just didn't look at those two and think, oh, wow, what a world title match this is. But whatever. It was still overall a really good pay-per-view. And I think my favorite match on the card was Braun and Baron Corbin, which I never would have thought I'd say that. So I'm sure you didn't get to see any of No Mercy. No. I probably didn't check any of that out. But that's okay. All right, well, that's really all I got on NXT. We're going to bring up the WWE for a minute. We're going to talk about Fastlane. Did I send you the Fastlane card? I think I did. The matches so far, anyway.
I believe you did.
Fastlane is very tag team heavy. I don't know why, but that's okay. You already had the LWO in a 6-man tag against the Street Profits and Bobby. And, of course, we knew we were getting John Cena and LA Knight against Solo and Jimmy. But now Jay and Cody got a tag team title match. What about that? Jay and Cody against Judgment Day for the tag titles. Interesting. And, of course, you got your three-way dance for the women's match and Shinsuke and Seth. So, looks pretty good. I don't know if that's the final card. That's only 5 matches, so I'd find it hard to believe.
Yeah, that's a small.
But, I mean, Fastlane is Saturday, so we'll see if they add anything else this week. because it's kind of a small card. And like I said, tag heavy, very, very tag heavy there. So we'll see what happens. I'm really looking forward to LA Knight and Cena teaming up. And this is not really a Fastlane related thing, but I want to bring up the fact that next week AEW Dynamite's going to be on Tuesday because of baseball playoffs. Tuesday's also the night NXT is on. And AEW already announced Adam Copeland's going to make his debut. Tuesday night he's taking on Luchasaurus live, making his debut. And then all of a sudden last night they advertised Cody Rhodes, Paul Heyman, Asuka, and John Cena for NXT next week. Just saying. Coincidence?
No.
I don't think so. I think not. John Cena's never been on NXT. And I forget who's facing each other, but it's going to be Carmelo Hayes against someone, and John's going to be in Carmelo's corner, and Paul Heyman's going to be in the other guy's corner. But they're obviously trying to combat because they feel that many people are going to watch Adam Copeland debut.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that anyway, but they're probably not wrong. And I guess we can transition right into that. I don't really have a lot of other WWE news to talk about right now. So we'll get into Wrestle Dream. And of course, we know what I really want to talk about Wrestle Dream. But this was the first time. This was the first time for Wrestle Dream, a new pay-per-view added to the AEW schedule. And I heard good things about it, but again, I worry. Like, they've had 3 pay-per-views in the last month and a half. So I worry about them getting another. It's not the best graphic. Sorry about that. But a lot of people said the best match of the night was Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. Adam Cole couldn't wrestle, and MJF managed to hold on to the tag titles by himself. He won a handicap match. What about that? Just making MJF like the star. Now, a couple weeks ago, these rumors started about Edge possibly going to AEW, and at first I thought, I just don't see it happening. Part of it was Edge is a WWE guy, okay? CM Punk was a huge shine, but CM Punk was not a WWE guy. CM Punk was a Ring of Honor guy and all that. Edge literally, it would be like The Undertaker showing up somewhere else, even though he was in WCW first, so it's even more than that. Like, Edge is a WWE guy and always has been. So I think that's why I was like, yeah. But then when they were talking about Wrestle Dream and they announced the main event was Christian and Darby Allin for the TNT title, I'm like, like, why is that the main event? That seems
interesting choice.
That seems interesting, and it looked like it was a heck of a match. I did not see the pay-per-view, but as you saw when we showed the video at the beginning of our podcast, I mean, the ring mat was torn. It looks like Christian, and I saw footage of Christian taking Darby Allin and throwing him out of the ring onto the stairs. I don't even know how Darby walked after that, but obviously Christian won the main event, and of course we saw the debut of Adam Copeland. And I love that he got to keep his music, but the reason is, and I didn't realize you were an Alter Bridge fan, and you mentioned that. The reason that Edge could keep his music is because Alter Bridge actually wrote that song for an album. That's an actual song, just like Cult of Personality. So WWE does not own that song. Now, WWE did record the intro, though, that says, "You Think You Know Me." WWE did record that. So I don't know if you noticed in the video, but they changed it. And now it actually says, "You Think You Know Him." And a little fun fact is, that's Beth Phoenix now saying that in the song.
I did hear that. It was Beth Phoenix.
Yeah. They had Beth re-record it, and now it says, "You Think You Know Him" instead of "You Think You Know Me."
I guess I didn't catch that part. I knew it was Beth Phoenix, but I didn't
catch that the first.
Do you know who did it in the original?
No, I don't. I don't know whose voice it was, but I just know that WWE recorded that part, so he could not keep that little part. But as far as the other, Edge is actually friends with Alter Bridge, and he was injured when they were making the new album, and he heard this song and he wanted it. So that's why Edge was able to keep his music. He said it was very important to him. Sorry, Adam Copeland, it's going to take me a while to get used to that. But that's how he was able to keep it, and they had Beth just redo the beginning part. And then I just saw the other day that in 2020 they let the trademark, WWE drop the trademark for the Rated R Superstar and never got it back. So Adam was able to trademark that. So, and his first shirt's already been released, and it says Rated R Era, so they're already cashing in on that. But what a moment! And like I said, we saw Sting in the ring with Edge, and those two have never been in the ring together ever. So that was a first. And in case you guys don't know, and I think we talked about this before, and I even sent my co-host a graphic for this. Now, I may not have merchandise like I do with Hulk Hogan, but Edge is up there. Edge is one of my top 5 guys, and he's up there in that Hogan category to the point that I even have an Edge tattoo. And and I thought, how can I show that on the podcast? But trying to like pull my leg up while we're recording and stuff would be really hard. So I sent my co-host a picture, and there you go. This was back in his early run when he was the rated R superstar. So yeah, there you go. I have an Edge tattoo. That's
the rated R superstar was definitely one of my favorite gimmicks.
Yeah.
Of all time. I even created when I used to do e-feds and wrestling and stuff. I even created a counter character for that called the G-rated superstar.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, comes out and yells at people for being R-rated and offensive and he's a heel that just tries to stop the uncensored works in wrestling. So
this was like from and this was like when he was with Lita and he was Money in the Bank and all that. That's where that particular Edge logo came from. So there you go. That shows you that I'm an Edge fan. I have a tattoo of Edge. Well, not of Edge, but one of Edge's. There you go. He will be Adam Copeland though moving forward. He's still the rated R superstar, and I wish, I can't watch Dynamite right now. I don't have cable. I don't have hush money for that stuff. I wish I could though, because he's making his debut. He'll be facing Luchasaurus. And can you imagine, so now there's potential that we're going to see Edge and Christian battle over the TNT title, which is basically the television championship. Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
And Christian, to me right now, Christian is at the peak of his career. I know he had all that TLC stuff back, but as far as his singles career, this is his best stuff. In the media scrum, he destroyed Brian Alvarez. I don't know if you know who Brian Alvarez is, but he's like Dave Meltzer. He's one of these wrestling journalists, and he made some comment Christian liked, and Christian was like, "Have you ever even wrestled in your life?" And Brian Alvarez said, "I did a little back then," and Christian was like, "Well, I'm sure you sucked." And he's peak heel right now. I think this is some of his best work, and a lot of people are being like some guy commented, and I commented back. Somebody commented on our Facebook page, "There goes Edge's legacy," or something like that. That's not true. Edge has nothing left to prove in wrestling at all. Edge has nothing left to prove. Edge wanted to wrestle more. See, I thought when he came back that he was taking all them little sporadic breaks and all that because he thought he needed to. No. And Edge wanted to do more. WWE just didn't have anything for him. And he said when he was having a talk with his family, his daughters looked at him and said, "You should go have fun with Uncle Jay." Jay is Christian's real name, by the way. So his kids were like, "Yeah, go have fun." Edge just wants to have fun. He said a million times, he used the word free in his media scrum more than once. He's like, "I felt like I was free and freedom and free." And then he was like, "I'm sorry, I have verbal diarrhea because I've said free about a million times," because he knows, he's seen what goes on. And I think he has a chance to be creative. He can have some fun. He wants to help some young guys and he wants to wrestle some guys he never had. And I say good for him. This isn't about money. This isn't about, I need to prove something. He just wants to enjoy the rest of his career and go out on his own terms. And I see nothing wrong with it. So all you haters that think he's downgraded, you think all you haters think he couldn't have stayed in WWE if he wanted to. Of course he could have. He knows he doesn't have much time left. He wants to go have some fun. And hey, it's 2023, and at some point we might get to see maybe a TLC retirement match, Hardy's versus Edge and Christian. You never know. I mean, that possibility is there.
Right.
Just saying. I'm just
saying.
saying.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
You say you don't have cable. Do you know if they are going to show current AEW like Dynamite and stuff on Max when that deal goes through?
Still not sure. They have not released all the full details yet on what's going to be on there and what's not. So
that'd be kind of cool though.
Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine it wouldn't be right away. Probably. I don't know. Do they show Raw and SmackDown on the Peacock? I never have looked. I don't know. They do, but not like right away, right?
So I know they have. Yeah, it's like a couple weeks down the line before
it's
you
like
get
a delayed.
Yeah, it's delayed. It's not current.
Right.
The only current is on Hulu, pretty much, that I know of, and that's like neutered. It's half of Raw.
Right. Ouch.
SmackDown, all of
My
SmackDown
jewels.
is.
My jewels.
Yeah, SmackDown's on there, but.
Right, because of Fox. Because of it being on Fox right now is why SmackDown would be on Hulu.
Yeah.
That's why. So we'll see what happens there. All right. Well, I think we're ready for a video game review.
Video game review.
Video game. That's been a minute since we've done this one, kids. All right. 1998, but there's actually So here we go. And 1998 was actually a good year for video games. And you're the one that messaged me the other night and was like, oh, I almost forgot about video game review, but we hadn't done it in a while. In 97, there was only like 3 games that came out. But we will be reviewing WCW Nitro, and I actually remember this game very well.
Hey.
Wait.
Like there's a choice here? Good God. Pick the man with the plan. Pick deep.
That was one of the best parts of this video game right there. Is that when you pick somebody, they did their little talking.
Yeah.
Now I didn't have this because I didn't have I never had a PlayStation 1. I mean, myself.
I definitely played this. I remember playing this.
I remember playing it on PlayStation, but I also think I had it on 64 because it did come out on 64. Technically, it came out on 64 in 1999. But if you look, you got to consider what year this is. Like, these are pretty cool graphics. I know we got so much amazing stuff now, but for this time, like, I remember this game coming out and being like, "Wow, man, this stuff is so realistic." But I was actually shocked to watch 2 different videos, and I think the PlayStation had a little bit better graphics than the 64, which kind of surprised me.
This is also back in the days when they just had like a health bar for you, and now it's definitely much better nowadays, where it's like you have different parts of the body that start getting weak, and it's more of a momentum meter than an actual health bar, which I think works better for wrestling.
Yeah. I would definitely not try to. There were over 100 wrestlers on this game, so we definitely will not try to go through all that. But like I said, this was released on PlayStation in 1998, and then the follow-up game, which we'll review here in a few weeks, was WCW NWO Thunder. And then after that, the next year, they released Nitro on the 64, and they added the guys from the Thunder game. So when it gets to 64, it's got like almost 200 wrestlers by the time they released it on the Nintendo 64. So I found that to be kind of interesting. Yeah. But I remember playing this game a lot, and I remember sometimes I would just take forever deciding which wrestler I wanted because I wanted to sit there and go through and listen to all
the videos.
Listen to all of them talk.
I know you suggested putting the video intros on.
But it makes more sense to have somebody,
Well, the only problem is if we put the video intros on, we'd want to just hear them talking, and we wouldn't be able to talk about ourselves.
The game. Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I also remember having a lot of it, and here you see the NWO arena. I remember having a lot of arenas on here. I don't think there were any, like, really spectacular game modes. I think you just had, like, one-on-one tag team singles. I don't remember there being any kind of, like, special game modes in this game. But I do just remember the amount of wrestlers itself made it pretty impressive. So do you think that, because you're the video game, you're a little more video game expert than I am. I mean, I think we've talked about this before, but I mean, at this point when the 64 comes out, is the PlayStation still running on better whatever graphics system or whatever? I don't know how that works. I know we've talked about this before.
It was a little different. So PlayStation had that CD-ROM, which gave it a little bit more. They were able to get better audio and stuff like that on it. The 64 was 64 bits. I can't remember how many bits the PlayStation was, but I know there was a little difference in graphical stuff because of the fact that PlayStation had the CD, used the CD instead of a cartridge.
The cartridge.
I think it did give them a little more leeway on certain things, but 64 had like its own charm with the graphics, I would say.
Yeah, it did. It had a certain style and a certain look. I haven't got to play it yet, but like I said, the AEW game that finally came out, Fight Forever.
I
Those
know.
graphics,
I want to play it.
Those graphics are based on the Nintendo 64 look that we all came to know and love.
Yeah.
But no, I remember this game being really fun to play, and as you can see, I mean, like I said, it's 98, but it had pretty good graphics, and everybody actually had their actual finishers, which sounds like a little thing, but if you're a big wrestling fan when you buy a game, that's what you want. Like if I'm playing as DDP, I want to hit a diamond. I wanted a diamond cutter. We reviewed some games where like everybody had the same move, or like these 5 guys would have
the diamond cutter right there.
Yeah, like Ric Flair had a backbreaker in one game. Like that's not what we want. We want to see their actual moves. The different arenas made it cool. This was NWO time, so there were a lot of wrestlers. You had both versions, like Hogan. You had red and yellow Hogan and NWO Hogan. Same with Macho Man. You had three different Stings on here. Like, so you had a very large roster.
I was watching the Giant playthrough, and every time Giant wins, he just puts his hand up. It was really bad audio of him just growling or roaring or whatever.
Look at that Nitro set. You talk about I watched one clip where they were like, I don't know if it was a 4-way, but there were 4 guys on the ring, and the Giant was one of them. And the Giant was beating up the one guy, and the other 2 guys glitched out and couldn't move, so they were just doing this. They were just going back and forth from a glitch out. But again, no, this is one I know I spent a lot of hours on, and it's still not my favorite. One of my favorite. The WWF had some better. We're gonna get there. 64 was my system I remember the most because that's the first one I bought myself. Like when I got my first apartment, I got myself a 64, and I was like, yeah, I'm in the modern era now, baby.
But technically, this is pretty impressive. I mean,
no, this is impressive.
Look, you have the full arena. You have the ring all in 3D. You got the entrance out there. There's some. I mean, you can barely see the fans, but there are fans
there's
out
shadows
there.
It's pretty smooth. The gameplay is pretty smooth. And just little things like, I mean, when they throw around those look just like the old WCWs that were on the Nitro set. That looks just like the Nitro set. I mean, it's impressive to me, especially for 98. This is when stuff really started taking off.
When we started getting stuff that's closer to what we have now.
Right. And then just to have that many wrestlers on there was also, we go way back to where I can remember some wrestling games where you had like a dozen guys to choose from, and now here we are with over 100 to choose from. Right. And then it ends up being like 200 by the time it gets to the Nintendo 64. So
now DDP sure is spamming his moves a lot, but same move over and over.
And again. I know that's Macho Man, but it could be kind of hard to tell because he kind of just. I don't know, his headband kind of blends. Oh, Hogan's interfering.
Hogan just came out. Oh, he tried to come out and help. And
match over.
DDP destroys Macho Man.
Now, I don't remember that. That's interesting, too, that there was a run in there. He didn't get in the ring, but that's still a little interesting. Early signs of,
so they had interference already?
The Canadian Crippler.
Halloween
Havoc
thing,
dude, my favorite, and I know NXT has it now, but it's still not the same. They're not even doing it as a PLE. They're doing Halloween Havoc on TV this year. NXT's not even a pay-per-view. It's just going to be a TV special.
Man.
It's disappointing. Halloween Havoc was always one of my favorites.
Well, just because I love Halloween, so I'm with you there.
Good game flow.
Yep.
Hours of fun. It was a good one.
I
actually remembered.
I think we've said what we needed to on here.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't think of anything else to talk about with WCW Nitro.
No. This one was kind of just basic as far as, like, it didn't have... I don't think there's a creator wrestler on this one, which is one of your favorite things.
Yeah.
But, you didn't really need it on... I mean,
well,
I like to have that, too. But it's
so
because
the whole reason I remembered all this is because I had my cousin here who's not really a big wrestling fan, but he was just, I woke up, he was sleeping downstairs, and he just happened to have a video talking about WWF, was it No Mercy?
That's one of my favorites.
It was
for the 64. Yeah,
I think it was No Mercy, Which
Probably.
came out in 98, and we'll be talking about it. Is that the 98 WWF game that we got?
I'm not quite sure, but...
They said it came out in 98. So that's what made me remember it. I was like, oh shit, that came out in 98? We're on 98 pay-per-views. I'm like...
Yeah.
And that was the first one to have a true creative player mode. That's one of the things that they... no, I guess I didn't fact-check this, but that's one of the things they mentioned was... It was the first.
We have interference, and they didn't stop the match. That is Steve Mongo McMichael in there.
In fairness, there's no ref in there either.
Well, that's true. That's true.
But,
all right.
But yeah, according to the author of the video or whatever, that was, and I remember creating a bunch of crazy shit on No Mercy. I wish I could get my old copy and just look at what I created back then. But
yeah.
It was the first game. Now, other games had like a edit option where you could edit wrestlers you already had, change the names and all that. It was practically a creative player. And No Mercy was the first one to have a true creative player mode, where from scratch you create a new character.
And I know that's definitely one of my favorites from back in the day. Was No Mercy, so it'll be exciting to get to that. All right, well there you go. Video game review. Back. First one of the year. But yeah, and actually WCW has about 3 or 4 that came out this year. So we'll get to those.
I know Mayhem did as well.
And so did Thunder that I just talked about. Thunder comes out too.
Was it? Yeah. Maybe I was thinking of Thunder. I'm not sure.
So there you go. All right, well, we only have one more thing before we start our pay-per-view this week. And that would be... Would it be what? It would be...
Continue.
Our Sheik Toy of the Week.
Oop, I actually... I may have went a little too quick there. Oh, my bad. But go ahead. Continue.
That never happens. That never Sorry, I swear that never happens. Well, here you go. Our Sheik Tweet of the Week is straight from the heart. Go fuck yourself. There's your words of wisdom from the Sheik.
That's right.
Straight from the heart, baby. The Sheiky baby. The Sheiky baby. So there you go. Our Sheik Tweet of the Week. I had to throw one in. You know, he has about 4,000 ways to go fuck yourself.
Right. Yeah, so, absolutely.
So every once in a while, you got to throw one of them in there to
fuck yourselves.
All right. Well, I think we're ready. I think we're ready for a pay-per-view now. I think we've rambled long enough.
I do agree. I think we are kind of ready.
I don't remember all of it, but what I do remember is we're about to see the first ever Inferno match.
Yeah, I think I've seen the first ever. I know I've seen Inferno matches, and they didn't exactly happen a lot.
I think there were only 2 ever. I think there were only 2.
So I've either seen this one or the second one, or both. I can't remember if I've seen more than one Inferno match.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. I believe there were only ever 2, because like I said, they realized it wasn't the best idea. So yeah, we get the Inferno match, and we also get to see Evil Dude Love.
Dude Love? Okay. Oh,
Bad Dude Love? Okay, let's do it. Let's watch Unforgiven.
Is he bad?
He's corporate dude.
Are we at the corporation?
It's not a corporation thing, but he's with Vince. I don't remember the whole storyline, but I do know that Dude Love ends up being with Vince. So he's like, he wears like jackets over his gear and stuff. He's Bad Dude Love. So that'll be...
Which is interesting, because you have a character named, I don't know, Mankind or Cactus Jack that would work perfectly as a heel, and you go with your least heel
and you
character.
Go with Dude.
Dude fucking Love.
Yep. It's going to be interesting, because I don't quite remember it.
It should be interesting, yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, let's get this going.
All right, so we kick off Unforgiven with a 6-man tag match, and it's the Nation of Domination. Well, it's Rock, D'Lo, and Mark Henry. Kama is at ringside with them, and they are taking on the team of Farouk, Blackman, and Shamrock. So we do now know that The Rock is truly the leader of the Nation now, obviously. But Farouk still comes out in his Nation gear.
He does.
Yeah. So, poor Farouk. Then I happened to notice that The Rock has the Oval Intercontinental title now, so we've changed the World title and the Intercontinental title for the Attitude Era, which we are clearly in. But this was a
Oh yeah.
fun way to kick off the pay-per-view. We know over time I've become a Shamrock fan. Steve Blackman so far is still, I'm on the fence
He hasn't
about him
really done
still.
anything
He hasn't
yet.
really done anything much yet. We did get to see some hints of those small little, D'Lo was not a D'Lo was not a main eventer and all that, but D'Lo Brown's memorable. He was a good wrestler, but it's his little things too. Like you have that pose of him right there, all those little head nods and those little
Yeah.
tiny gestures,
And
just
that leg drop is fantastic.
his leg drop's fantastic.
That he does.
He had a pretty good frog splash too. You could tell Mark Henry, Mark hasn't been here long, so he was still he's definitely still green. You could tell, but I thought it was entertaining though. It was a good, fun, entertaining match that has some story to it. And obviously, the biggest story is The Rock took the nation away from Farouk. Poor Farouk. Give it back. That's
Yeah.
my nation of domination. I'm telling Dad.
Yeah, so if you can't tell, so this picture you got, I took from this match because it is really hard. It's hard to find just The Rock outside of the nation without Farouk in the picture.
Right.
So, although The Rock never really wears Nation of Domination gear, he wears his own stuff.
But he did start getting a little more creative with his gear. Now he has The Rock on there, and yeah, but he never did.
Oh yeah.
I think on the front of those tights it had ND on it, which I assume stands for, but yeah, he never wore the actual. And meanwhile, Farouk's still in the gear. Kama was on the outside and had on like a vest and a hat, and he looked like the Godfather to me. Of course, back then you wouldn't have known he's about to be the Godfather soon, but
right.
I'm looking out there
he just hasn't found his hose.
He looks like the Godfather, I'm telling you. But it was an entertaining match. We got to hear some of the good old JR catchphrases, like a catchest catch can. I still don't even know what that means, but he used to say that all the time. The commentary in these old ones, and I'm not taking nothing away from today. I mean, Michael Cole to me is the modern day, he's the man. He's in this thing looking like he's 12 years old, just interviewed wrestlers, and he's been there ever since. So I'm not taking away from him, but I just think it's like, I don't think we have a good set of announcers anymore, like Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler, Tony Schiavone and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Like, we don't have a good, they won't
There's
let
no one
Corey,
iconic.
like Corey Graves and Michael Cole do really well together, but they keep splitting them apart. Now they have Michael Cole doing both shows, like that guy's. But yeah, there's just not that iconic set. I mean, to me, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler were one of the best teams ever. I mean,
JR in this match, JR talks about it's like a bunch of young guys in there, unlike us, and Jerry the King Lawler just is like,
speak for yourself.
Like, yeah, speak for yourself. He's like, anybody else who calls me that is gonna be sleeping with a respirator.
Good old JR.
Some great lines.
It is. So there was great commentary. It broke down at one point. This is a good way to kick off a pay-per-view. There's story to it. You got some of your hot up-and-coming stars in this match, and you have the whole nation story. So it was fun. Farouk's finisher looked a little rough. He went to do that Dominator or whatever, and he kind of almost dominated Rock's face. Like, don't break the moneymaker. That's how.
I mean, that is.
You don't know it yet, but that's Rock's moneymaker right there. Don't go breaking the nose or anything. But it was fine. Fun, entertaining way to kick it off. Yeah.
Don't go breaking my face.
I couldn't if
I tried.
Oh, this guy.
Oh, Rock, when I walk through the door. Okay, sorry. I'm done. Are
you sure? I mean, you can keep going now. Nobody knows.
The nation of domination.
Oh, look at you go. All right.
When I was down, you were my... Anyway,
Farouk was the clown.
These are just popping in my head
right from the start. Rock gave us his heart. Oh, anyway. So, yeah, fun way to kick it off. No complaints. It was an entertaining match. The crowd was into it, so I'm going to give this, let's see. I'm going to give this 3 Dominators.
I'm gonna go with 3 star sunglasses.
Sir Elton, we love you. Sir Elton, we love you.
I do love me some Elton John.
Oh, me too. I have no problem with some Elton John. Crocodile Rock, you know, Yellow Brick Road, Norma Jean, all
Goodbye.
that. Yeah. Goodbye. Goodbye, Nation of Domination. Anyway, all right, before we just turn every Elton John song into a wrestling song, should we see what's next?
Saturday night's all right.
No, we got something else to talk about. We can't.
Yeah,
we don't want to see what's next yet. I forgot. My bad. Else. We got a segment after.
We got a certain Stone Cold who's a little upset.
Yeah, Stone Cold comes out after this. Music hits, and of course the crowd goes totally bananas. And Jim Ross and Jerry are selling it like this isn't on our schedule. Obviously, we don't watch Raw, so we missed something. But Stone Cold comes out and gets the timekeeper into the ring and says, "You rang that bell last week because Vince told you to, didn't you?" You know, in this whole classic Stone Cold segment, basically told him he better call it down the middle or he's going to end his life. Is basically what he ended up telling the timekeeper.
Yeah, I like how he was on the top rope and he's like yelling at him. He's like, now if Dude Love beats me legit, you know, that's fine. That's fine. But if you screw Stone Cold,
yeah,
you're gonna.
And man, he had the crowd.
I'm gonna beat your ass so bad you're never gonna be able to work again.
You could just watch this little clip that we're talking about, right? Just this little segment, and it can show you, because here again, this is part of wrestling. Stone Cold had that crowd. Everybody was focused on Stone Cold, and they were all probably wanting a Stone Cold stunner. It didn't happen, but you could feel that anticipation, you know what I mean?
No, and it made sense here. He's telling them to do his job.
But what I'm saying is the crowd, though, had that anticipation of, oh, is he going to stun him? My point was Stone Cold had the crowd right in the palm of his hands. That's my point of all that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That is part of wrestling. That's what you want. You want to be able to control the audience and when they cheer and when they boo and all that. And that was just classic Stone Cold, one of the best to ever do it. So we got that segment afterwards. Let's hope that timekeeper doesn't cheat, because if he does, I think he's going to get a mud hole stomped in his ass. That's just what I think is going to happen. So.
True.
Now we can see what's
move
next.
On.
Yes, let's.
Oops. Where's my...
Uh-oh. Oops, he did it again.
There we go.
All right, so here we go in our next match. I knew right away like we were in for a treat just because I saw who was in it, but it's actually a rematch from WrestleMania, and it's Owen Hart versus Triple H for the European title with China on a pole. I mean, China in a cage.
China will be on a pool later.
Yeah, the game's pool. But anyway, what were we talking about? Yeah, the match. That's right, Ed. So when Triple H came out, they had the cage down there, and Sergeant Slobber was out there ready to put her in. But while they were coming out, they mentioned that we now have DX fully reformed. The Outlaws are officially in DX, and we have X-Pac. So we are full on DX at this point. It took a minute to get China to get into the cage, but they started fighting right away. Before China was even lifted up, they started fighting outside the ring, and they made me believe it too. These are two of the best. Even at this point, I've said it 100 times, I don't have to keep praising Triple H. If you didn't like him or whatever, I don't know what your problem is. Because these are two of the best. The problem with Owen, and we're going to see a few other things, a lot of what happened, though, is they didn't know what to do with Owen. Like, they were so excited that they kept Owen, but we're going to see him go through a few different changes and then try to figure out a character for him, because he's Owen Hart, and that's great. But, he just doesn't really have any kind of, he's not the King of Hearts anymore and all that stuff. But anyway, that's neither here or there. They raise up China, so she's in the cage. And almost right away, she starts doing stuff like pushing her legs up against the bar. Like, right away, she's trying to escape the cage. And I don't remember this match, but the whole time I'm just like, what's she going to do if she does get the bars? Like, what's she going to do? Just jump down on the floor? I don't see that happening. Of course, you said, well, they dive off ladders and stuff. Why can't she just open up and jump on down, But it was great back of...
I thought she was going to drop on Owen Hart.
Right? Oh. I mean, anyway, that's a different podcast. She could drop on Owen Hart if she wanted to. There was a point, actually, it looks like in the picture you found that shows her trying to use the file to to cut the
Yeah.
bars, and she dropped it. She dropped it in the ring, so she lost her file. Um, but eventually, she broke the bars like she was. Again, we're selling that China's super strong, and she just bent the bars. That's what it came down to. She eventually bent the bars and started coming out of it, and Owen let this distract him. He even went outside and was like, "I got you, China. I got you, China. I got you, China." And when I was watching the match at first, I was like, "Why are you letting her distract you like that?" But Wrestling 101, he's the baby face. Like he had to do that. He had to go out there and like offer to catch China so she didn't fall to her death or whatever. But but the action between Triple H and Owen was great. It was back and forth constantly. They both know how to sell. They both know how to do moves. I could watch these guys wrestle 100 times and it wouldn't matter. But we get to that end where they started like the cage started lowering, and they're like, "Who's lowering the cage?" And they show a shot, and it was Road Dogg. Road Dogg got the controls and lowered the cage down, forced the refs and everybody outside of the ring. Meanwhile, inside the ring,
Yeah.
Owen Hart manages to hit Triple H with a pedigree, and the match should have been over, but no ref. And then out of nowhere is that dastardly X-Pac who hits Owen with a fire extinguisher. And Triple H
Well,
just
he saw a fire in that ring. It needed to be knocked
I
out.
thought the fire was in China, but maybe that was just maybe that was just
Nope.
me. I don't know. So with this, with great wrestling match, great story. Even the stuff with China was great. I mean, I like that they went through all these different things, and eventually China was just like fucking shivered it open. There was an interview with Owen afterwards talking about how it looks like DX has his number and everything, and Owen said a bad word. Oh,
Bullshit. That's
are
not
you
a
allowed
bad
to say
word.
bullshit on a pay-per-view? I don't even know if we can say bullshit on here. Are we allowed to say bullshit?
I don't give a fuck.
I think Owen might have been a little bit legit upset during that interview. I'm not sure because, again, like I said, things didn't go like Owen thought they were. I think Owen thought when everybody, when Brett was gone, he was going to be like elevated, and it just never quite happened. And a year from now, the worst thing ever is going to happen for him. So, you know, you said you
Yeah.
said you remembered the Danger entrance or the Danger music a little bit, Owen's other music, and he ends up in the Nation too. I'm not sure when that happens, but it has to happen soon because I remember Owen being with the Nation. And I wouldn't think Rock's in the Nation much longer, but maybe he was with him longer than I remember. I'm not sure. I guess we'll
I
see.
don't remember.
Yeah, I seem to have thought the Rock wasn't in the Nation that long, but maybe it went on longer than I expected. So, but anyway, at the end of the day, DX pull it off. Triple H wins. I don't know if we will see another rematch between these two, but I could watch them fight again. I mean, I wouldn't complain about it. Owen did a pile driver, and it was
Right.
perfectly done. I didn't even cringe when he pile drive Triple H, like he knew what he was doing. A lot of intensity, a lot of back and
Yeah.
forth. The shenanigans were even entertaining, and I love the fact that we're just full on Attitude Era. I love the fact we have DX now. I mean, we had DX, but now this is the other DX, uh, the one
Yeah,
the
we'll get
one
new
formed
DX.
after Sean left. So and this is actually X-Pac had just come back from his brief run, like he was just in WCW. So it just didn't last. It
Yeah.
just didn't last that long. He was with the NWO for a minute, and he was sixth there. Which I'm sure it took a lot to come up with that name because they were like, "Well, let's see, you were the 1, 2, 3 kid. You're 6." See what I did there? 3, 2, 1.
Is that how they got that?
I don't know, but I always thought that. I was like, "Is that how you came up with 6 Pac?" You were just like 1, 2, 3 kid.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I guess.
I don't know if that's true, but that's what I pictured. Like, Eric Bischoff was like, "I got it. You're 6. It's that easy." Anyway, he was 6
Right.
Pac there. He comes back. Now he's X Pac and he's in DX. And it's a happy WWF now, so at least in my opinion.
Right.
Very entertaining match. It may not have been your classic. I think there were some good wrestling moves, though. It was really a good match. It just had the shenanigans added to it as well. And, of course, all the outside interference, but it told a story. It continues a feud, and Owen had it won and got screwed. So I was all down with it, and I'm actually going to give this 4 suckets.
This was a lot of fun. It's got Triple H. We got Owen Hart. We got China hanging above. I guess she wasn't above the ring. She was outside the ring, but hanging.
Right.
I'm gonna give this a 4 China ornaments. Just to hang on your tree.
Just to hang on your tree. A little China for Christmas time. Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? We said we weren't going to do that. It's not Christmas time yet.
You're right. We just sometimes it's nice to have one night in China.
Ask X-Pac about that. Oh, wow. Okay.
The sip afterwards. Nice.
It's the little things, It's all, you gotta have this
stuff.
Know. All right, well, let's see what's next.
You're like that Kermit meme.
Sometimes I wonder, what happened to the people that asked me for directions? That was one of them.
With sign effects.
All right. Let's do it. Let's see what's next. All right. Well, our next match, they can't all be winners. We're still in this. I find it funny that, we've started the Attitude Era, but we're trying to work with and bring back the NWA. Just seems a little weird timing, And they're in Greensboro, so it should be NWA country, but the problem is the Rock and Roll Express definitely does not look like that anymore. And and even if people knew who the Midnight Express were, they're not going to be thrilled to be seeing Bobacious Bart and Bombastic Bob or whatever.
Look, it's Bart Gunn and Bobby Holly.
Yeah.
That was kind of neat to see them.
Thurman Sparkplug Holly and Bart Gunn, the new Midnight Express. The Rock and Roll Express came out to the Rockers music, and the crowd went mild. That's what happened here. Like, I would have rather seen a Taka Michinochu match. Michinochu. And somebody I didn't know. It just, yeah, I mean, it was.
Well, we do know these people.
We do.
We know the Rock and Roll Express. We've seen them they've popped up a couple times. We've seen them on the NWA pay-per-views.
I know them.
Watching.
I know them anyway because I was a WCW guy. So, I mean, I remember them from when I was a kid. I think that all of this is at the wrong. I don't think it's working because it's the wrong time. Like I said, you just switched to the hottest thing is Stone Cold Steve Austin and DX. So trying to do this nostalgia throwback stuff just doesn't fit into where the business is at this time. That's all I'm saying. Like
that's fair.
It's an odd fit. That's all. It's not that we don't know any of them. It's not like we don't know them, but like the pure WWF fans might have heard of the Rock and Roll Express, but they're not really going to care because they're going to think they're the Rocker ripoffs or whatever. So I mean, it was okay. It was fine. It wasn't a horrible match. It just seemed like the arena was very quiet. It seemed like the crowd wasn't really into it either. But it was fine. It's what it was. It was there. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I just wasn't a huge fan of it.
Like I said, the one positive for me was seeing where Bob Holly and Bart Gunn are at this time. Now, Bart Gunn will fade into obscurity for all I remember. I can't remember if he really had much of a gimmick after this.
Well, no, because what takes him out is the infamous Brawl for All. That's what ends his career.
You told me about that.
Yeah, so.
And then Hardcore Holly does have a lot of
his most
stuff going.
Yeah, his most success comes from being Hardcore Holly, so that's definitely. And to be honest, I mean the match wasn't that great. I liked the finish though; it was a classic. Ref distracted, other guy comes in and helps his team member. So I didn't mind that. Robert Gibson had a roll up on one of them, I think on Bart, and the ref was distracted. So Bob Holly came in and bulldogged Robert, and then Bart pinned him in the 1, 2, 3, and they win. So Jim Cornette tried to interfere, but he ended up hitting his own guy. So, I mean, it had its moments, and it was fine. And it's not a knock against any of these guys. It just felt out of place. We just watched, the Nation of Domination against Shamrock and those guys, and then we got to see Triple H and Owen, and now we're watching the Rock and Roll Express in the Midnights, and it just kind of felt out of place. And I get it. Like I said, they're in some place that should be North Carolina, should be NWA country, but just doesn't feel the same. And when the hottest things going are DX and the NWO, this stuff just seems like it's too late, just out of place. That's all. So, I mean, it wasn't horrible. I mean, I'll give it a 2 Rocker ripoffs. No, 2. I'll give it a 2. There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Two classic rockers.
Two classic rockers, yeah. And I'm guessing, because I was telling you these guys are still wrestling, I'd have to Google it, but they're probably close to 50 at this point in
Really?
98.
Wow.
I would guess. I'm pretty sure Ricky Morton's close to 70 now, so, I mean.
Oh, damn.
And still going. They're actually on their retirement tour right now, so. Yeah. So there you go. Ricky has a son, though, that wrestles, and he wrestles with him as well sometimes, on the independents, but that's neither here or there. But yeah, pretty soon we will see Hardcore Holly, and pretty soon Bart will be done with wrestling after the Brawl for All, so there you go. And we know what's next. We got a teaser because we're about to see our first evening gown match, and who better to see in an evening gown match than Luna Vachon?
Yep. We're definitely rooting for Luna in this one. All right. And we did get an interview with Luna Vachon, and
we did. It was
it was pretty much Luna Vachon. Yeah, with her raspy, weird voice.
And even though he's still the artist formerly known as Goldust, at least Goldust was back in his black and gold.
Yeah.
So he's a little more gold dusty. So that's good.
Sounds good.
All right, let's watch this evening gown match. First one ever.
All right. I gotta eat.
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at 2.
Oh, kids, the Attitude Era. Because this, okay, so it's our first ever evening gown match. And it wasn't really much of a wrestling match. We know what this was. But there was
in my defense, I couldn't find the evening gowns.
That's fine, and like I said, we know what this was really for, but to be fair, because, come on, an evening gown match, it was, we know. We got this, we know what it was. But to be fair, this is the start, though, of the women's division coming back. So at least it's exciting to see the early, But I don't even know how I'm going to rank this because it wasn't really a match. They did a few moves, but it was it is what it was. Luna got ripped off Sable's skirt early, and of course that caused Mark Merrow to come down because he doesn't want Sable out there showing her ass off. And then next thing you know, Luna just rips the top off, and ta-da! And the puppies were almost exploding. Literally. Yeah. Literally. And you were talking about how that, we're surprised because the Peacock hasn't really blurred anything out or nothing. I saw the sign of the century in the audience when Sable was entering. A guy had a sign that said Sable free tongue bath, and it had an arrow pointing down.
Yep, saw that. I saw that. Yep. I was like, damn.
And it looked like it was real close to a nip slip. I don't know if one did come out, but it looked like it. Like, those aren't, you can tell those aren't real. I hate to burst your bubble, but those aren't real. I'm just saying. Those are not. I don't think.
Can I touch them?
You can ask her. I don't know how Brock will feel about it, but you can. If you're willing to take an F5. I'm just saying,
if you could touch them, I think they're real.
I don't know, but
it might be worth it.
Like I said,
F5,
it was
F5 Sable.
It was what it was. I'm pretty sure eventually we get to see these two actually wrestle because Luna is a wrestler by trade, and of course Sable is now. But you know what I mean. Luna's been around a long time. Luna's from a wrestling family, so maybe eventually we'll get to see him in an actual match with a little more action.
We'll see. This is the Attitude Era, so women matches are going to be mostly stuff like this.
Yeah. As far as this match goes, I'm going to give it 2 puppies. But that's being nice. But it wasn't horrible. It was fun to watch. You know what I'm saying? And
I'd give this. I give this 100.
The highest rated match ever on the show.
Highest rated match ever. No,
don't tell Rage. It was better than Michaels and Brett. Don't tell Rage. No.
Absolutely, best match of the whole show we watched. Better than Macho Man versus
Steamboat.
Versus Tricky Dragon Steamboat.
Puppies.
Puppies. Yeah, this was. I didn't hate it, but yeah, I guess 2 is probably the fair assessment here.
That's being because it was entertaining, so it's being nice, We got to see something really cool after, though. We got to see Mr. McMahon, and he is now finally the owner. He's the full character, and he had his stooges with him, Briscoe and Patterson.
And he said one of the lines I remember from Vince McMahon. It's like, I won't be accountable when Stone Cold screws Stone Cold.
Yes. This is the beginning of the feud that saved WWF, because a lot of people may not know or forget, but WCW was actually beating them in the ratings at this point because the NWO was around and all that stuff. So WCW was beating Raw for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And the thing that turns it around is this feud between Stone Cold and Mr. McMahon, because you have this wrestler that we can all relate to, and he gets to kick his boss's ass. Like, it was everybody living out their, like everybody just living out their dream. It was like the perfect feud, and this is what puts the WWF back on top. And of course, eventually they win completely because WCW is no longer around. So it was, so it was good to see the Mr. McMahon character in full force, and this was fine for what it was. It was entertaining. Jerry was actually a lot more mild than I thought he was going to be during this on commentary.
Yeah, JR really was a little more not mild.
A little more not mild
than I was expecting.
Yeah, so it was kind of a role reversal, and
like it's a simple line, but it's like, well, Sable unfortunately does lose this match, and I can't say that I'm too upset about it. JR is legit. Right after saying I'm a happily married man, is legit talking about how he's not too upset about Sable losing because.
Well, I mean,
puppies.
Were you? I guess we should also say too that after the match, Sable went ahead and ripped off Luna's gown too, and then Luna crawled under the ring, and Sable went after her. And when Sable came out, she had the rest of Luna's clothes, so we were led to believe that Luna was under the ring naked. And of course, Goldust grabbed his robe. But it was an entertainment segment. I'm not gonna hate on it. And yes, I mean, we're guys, and of course we enjoyed it because, well, it's Sable.
We like women. Yeah, absolutely.
So. But yeah, fun segment, and I can't complain. And I know, because I cheated a little bit, but we're not done because we get to see Sunny in this pay-per-view too. As a matter of fact.
I thought she was done. I thought
No. I said that was her last WrestleMania. But she is not gone yet. She is in our next match.
Last WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's check this out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Having no problem with that balance man.
All right, so our next match, I almost forgot because we had to watch another segment we'll get to in a minute, but anyway, our next match, he found it. Get out what our next match is here. Our next match is the New Age Outlaws with their special guest, I forget who they said this was. This was like the former dean of North Carolina or whatever, and they bring out this blow-up doll, and they legit did bring the doll with them to the ring, and they're facing LOD 2000 and 1998 Sunny. Oh, Sunny Day.
So which one's hotter, the blow-up doll or 1998 Sunny?
Sunny, man. For me personally, even, I like Sunny better than Sable. There, I said it. For me,
I agree.
That's a personal taste. But yeah, anyway, I loved DX's entrance. Their DX now, the entrance is great. It's great every time. That's the reason they came out first, even though they're champs, because, I mean, come on, it's the New Age Outlaws. That's one of the best part of them is their entrance. You gotta love it. We got the Mr. Ass trunks. They're spending some more money now on their gear. They got the DX, going. And man, this wasn't bad, but unfortunately it wasn't as good as I was hoping for with these two teams. I don't know. It just kind of... There's nothing wrong with that old school, they injured Animal's knee and they worked on the leg the entire time, and there's nothing wrong with that. But because of who was in it, it felt kind of flat to me. I was expecting more shenanigans, Sunny to get involved some more, and then the ending just irritated the hell out of me, so I think that kind of took away. So it wasn't horrible, I guess. I just, come on, man, that was so stupid. That ending was bad.
It was weird.
It could have worked if he did it the right way, but they didn't do it the right way at all. And we'll get to it in a second. And like I said, it wasn't a terrible match, but you expect more when these people are involved, and it was just, they worked on the body part forever, which kind of slowed it down, and I think it just could have been a little more entertaining, I guess, Yeah.
It's by this time you'd think that maybe never try to win a match with that back suplex pin, because this is what happens almost every single time.
But this is one of the worst ones I ever seen. So yeah, Animal back suplexes Road Dogg. And it's not like, first of all, both of Animal's shoulders weren't down. That's the first problem right off the rip. Both of Road Dogg's shoulders were
I didn't see a camera angle where I could tell,
but the point being is the ref wasn't even out of position. He was focusing on Animal, and that makes no sense. The ref knows that Animal is the one performing the pin. You could check both sets of shoulders. That would be different. Like if Road Dogg would have got a shoulder up just a little bit, then I would have been okay with it. But he never moved. And we're supposed to believe that a double count. Everybody's shoulders down.
Maybe like restart the match or something.
Yeah, something like that. But we're legit just supposed to believe that the ref counted the wrong guy for no reason. And on the replay, I know it wasn't a clear angle, but it didn't even look like both Animal's shoulders were down. But they're like, look where the ref's looking. Yeah, at the wrong person. Like, I don't know. It was very irritating. It
seems like the Attitude Era likes to do these fake out finishes.
Yeah.
Because we just got this with The Rock and Ken Shamrock, which that one worked way better. That one worked a lot better.
That one worked. That one worked and made sense because he did it to himself. So yeah, that one I could go with. This one, and I believe this is I forget what happened last time, but this happened to LOD one other time that we saw not that long ago where they thought they won the tag titles and then whatever. I think a DQ ended up happening or some crap, which is fine. You just got to do it right. Like you said, that Shamrock Rock when that worked. That made sense. He went nuts. He attacked a bunch of people he shouldn't have. This was just like, it makes the ref look like he doesn't know what he's doing. I would have rather had DX get involved, or something. There were so many other things you could have done other than that. And yeah, it was kind of dumb. And it took away from it too, and just kind of disappointing. But I know like this isn't the same. For one, it's not the same LOD because they're older, and two, they, for some reason they thought they had to put this new gimmick on them. And I mean, Sonny's great to look at, but I don't think Sonny ever really fit. Like LOD didn't need a manager, so I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of everything. I know Animal wasn't a fan of this LOD 2000 thing, and Hawk could have been high. Who knows? I don't know. Just it kind of fell flat. It kind of fell flat for me, and we all know the New Age Outlaws are one of my favorite tag teams. But it was just kind of it was there. It was okay.
In fairness, this LOD 2000, is there really that much of a difference? Maybe slight different color scheme, but it's not like they have an actual gimmick.
Well, they let him get rid of the motorcycle helmets this time. The shoulder pads, they tried to make them look more futuristic. Animals wearing shorts, and he always wore pants. I don't know. Different makeup scheme. You're right.
Be confused and upset by the fact that we're called LOD 2000 in 1998. Like, what the fuck? I mean, if you're going to do LOD Future...
That's because they're futuristic.
Yeah. Why the fuck did you choose a number that's like 2 years down the line?
2 years later?
It's like not even that big of a future. It's like coming up. Maybe say 3000 if you wanted futuristic.
They did that one other time when they had the Hall of Fame team. Everyone remembers Techno Team 2000 was also that was a team in WWF too. You remember them, right? Right? They won. No, they never won.
Did they at least come out in the 2000s and not fucking 1998?
I think it'll come out in 99. I could be wrong, but I think it.
Yeah, this.
Well, that really aggravates you too. You're like, that's not the. It's like 2 years. It's not the future.
It's like
what
2 years away. It's fucking 2 years away. If you want to go with future to LOD, go LOD 3000. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh man.
Nobody's thinking future with 2000. We're thinking you don't know math.
I just think
that's what we're thinking.
Oh my gosh, actually I was totally wrong, but see, this makes more sense. We've already passed. Techno Team 2000 was a team in 1995. See, that made more sense, right? That's a little better, right? 5 years, is that better?
At least that's 5 years away, but...
Yeah, they didn't last long. They were only there for a year. But
well, it shows you how much they didn't make it to a pay-per-view, because I don't know who the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't think it was just this gimmick. I think this was just it was a bad time for their careers, period. Hawk had his personal stuff going on. Animal was just frustrated because he believed in the old, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't think LOD ever needed to be repackaged because who they were and fans would have loved them. They didn't need a new look or a fresh coat or whatever. But there was a lot of personal stuff going on for these guys too. But it is what it is. At least it wasn't a stinker. I was just kind of let down. I just expected more. It was kind of slow paced. The best part was the entrance. I mean, that was the best part, and them introducing their special manager. That was the best.
The New Age Outlaws entrance was gold.
Yes, it was. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give it 2.5 blow up dolls. There you go.
I'm going to give it 2.5. Sonny has something blown up, right?
Oh.
Oh, no, wait, that's Sable. Anyways, let's go.
Oh, wow, okay. Well, we know. Oh, and we got to talk about what happened
in China.
And I looked it up for you, too. But anyway, so next we get a concert from good JEFFJRRG, whatever. Jeff Jarrett's here. He's going to sing again. The band Sawyer Brown is with him, and he actually ends up singing Some Girls Do with Sawyer Brown. And we're watching this, and of course, I just don't want to see Jeff Jarrett. And I'm like, why are we even doing this? But then I remembered they had to set up the Inferno match. By the way, just so you know, I looked it up, and this is Road Dogg actually singing again. Anytime Jeff Jarrett sung in WWF, it was actually the Road Dogg doing the singing. So, I mean, we could tell he was lip syncing. The lead singer Sawyer Brown was lip syncing too. He was just lip syncing his own music, but nobody was actually singing. But yes, that was Road Dogg. Anytime Jarrett sung, it was actually the Road Dogg. They just kept doing that. So there you go.
As you see, I needed a drink for this segment, so.
So, yeah, we got that little concert, and the whole point of it was just so we could get this contraption set up so we can watch two guys try to catch each other on fire.
Fun times.
It's the first ever Inferno match.
Yep.
Let's do it. Check it out.
Here's the cover. Hook to the leg. He did it. He did it.
All right. So here we go in our next match. It's getting hot in here. Because it's the Inferno match.
Oh, shoot. One second.
Kane's on fire.
Yeah. But, that's not what I wanted to share.
Uh-oh. See, this could be scary. This guy. Yeah.
That's all.
We didn't start the fire. No, we didn't. I believe Undertaker did.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy. Our first ever Inferno match, which I remember it happening. I just didn't remember everything, but it was actually, not only was it visually cool, and we already know we have a great story, but it was actually a good match. This might have been a little better than their Mania match. As an actual, match.
Perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, for two big guys, of course, we all know how great Undertaker is. They did some really cool stuff, and even though this is years old, I was still some moments where I thought, oh man, they're going to catch on fire if they're not careful.
Yeah, I know.
Close. Like one time, something happened to where Undertaker ended up on the other side of the ring, and he literally was right by the ropes, and the flames shot up, and I thought his face was going to get burned. I'm like, yeah, this is why Inferno matches probably aren't that great of an idea. It was a good match, and it was fun to watch, and the visual was great, but whoo.
I guess my only complaint is I think whoever was the one with the controls to make the fire go higher.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just went a little too crazy with it. Like, if it might have been better if they would have just waited till like some major moves happened, and that's the only time it goes up. But then there's a couple times where they're just doing regular things, and then wait, boom, 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 like 3 times it would go up.
The control guy was having way too much fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It should have been more like it was when they had it on the video game. The only times the flame shot up is when you did like big moves, power moves, something that
that's
actually.
That's what I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, the video game was like that.
When they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember which game had the Inferno match, but
Taker hit a superplex and it made sense for it to go off, or like during a choke slam. That's how it worked when they had it in the video game. It had to be a move that was actually a big move to make the flames go, which made more sense than just whenever this guy felt like shooting the flames up, so. And of course, one point Kane ends up outside of the ring. And then they make it look like Taker is trapped and can't get out. And then Kane decides he's going to leave, and Vader shows up. Babyface Vader's back, and he starts hitting on Kane and taking him back towards the ring. And then we get the dive from the Undertaker over the top to the outside on both those guys. So that was a pretty cool spot. The suplex I already mentioned, that was cool. And I just think for two big men, these two guys worked well together, because sometimes two big men is not a good thing. The Mania match was good. This match was good. So I think these two work well together. And I think you can tell Kane's improved now too. He hasn't been here that long, but he's getting better, because he was really great. Even though he's been around so long, we talked about it before. It took him a minute to get into Kane and to be able to perform all the moves and everything, the proper way. There were some great choke slams in this match. Yeah. And it did really have me on the edge of my seat. And I was pretty sure Taker won. I just couldn't remember exactly how.
I nearly won only because I found this graphic.
Right. So you already saw Kane doing like the Jason Voorhees on fire.
I guess there was a possibility that Kane got put on fire after Undertaker already lost or something, but...
Yeah, which is true. Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility, but yeah. And they did it well. Like, when they all ended up outside, there was a point where Paul Bearer tried to attack Taker again, so Taker chased him, and they ended up on the stage where Sawyer Brown was, and Taker beat Paul Bearer up with a drum and a microphone. So
as one does.
And busted him open. And naturally, this was all time to buy time so Kane could put on the proper fireproof sleeve before he got his arm caught on fire. But yeah, he went to hit Taker with the chair, big booted Kane. No, Undertaker big booted Kane with the chair, right there. And then Kane fell back into the. Good thing he didn't have a moment, right, where he forgot which arm to put back. That would have been bad. Like, if he would have put the other arm on there, because he has no sleeve on one side. That would have been a horrible thing. I do believe I've heard interviews with Taker. I do think Taker said he did have a few minor burns after the match. Nothing major, but I mean, it was definitely. And I was wrong, by the way. I had to look it up because I thought there were only like a couple, which there were, but there's actually been 6 Inferno matches. I would have never guessed. I would have never guessed there were 6 of them, but there were. Yeah,
and this was the first.
2 of them were in the modern era, which I kind of forgot about. Bray Wyatt had one at SummerSlam in 2013.
Ooh, and then I kind of remember that.
I vaguely remember that one now. And the other one was modern era one was Randy Orton and The Fiend at TLC 2020. But see, I didn't watch a lot of that Thunderdome stuff. That was when there was no audience, so I did watch all
that. So I think I saw that too.
Yes, and then you had Kane and MVP at Armageddon 2006. So we'll be watching that one eventually.
In fairness, there should be more than 2. I was just going to say, there should be more than 2 if we actually got it in a video game.
True. The other 2 actually took place on TV. You had Triple H versus Kane in 1999 on SmackDown, believe it or not. That was a SmackDown match.
Oh,
and then on Raw in 1999, you had Kane and Undertaker had a rematch on Raw. So there's a rematch for this Inferno match on a Monday Night Raw. So there you go, 6 Inferno matches. It made I do remember the SummerSlam one because I thought, wow, well, if you're going to bring back the Inferno match, Bray Wyatt's a good person to put in there. It was Bray versus Kane. So yeah, I remember that one a little bit. But you know what? It was like I said, it was very entertaining. It was a good visual. They did it well. In the end, it was cool too when Undertaker was celebrating the purple lights came up while the fire was still going. Like that was a really really cool visual too. So, and I was entertained. So.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? I see there's no pleasing you, Mr. Bowers. And the heat was on. You know what I'm saying? The heat is on.
The heat is on. Yeah, I debated on that one, and I went with
You went with we didn't start the fire. We did not start the fire. The Undertaker did. Shame on him.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. Where do I want to rank this? I am going to give this 3.5 drum sets.
I'm going to go 3.5. Fire, 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 fire.
Fire, fire. That's a good one. See, I thought of the Beavis and Butthead. Nice pulling out the Beavis and Butthead reference. Fire, fire, fire. That was actually. Have you watched this since they brought it back?
Oh yeah,
back on Paramount Plus.
I
yeah.
saw the.
So
I
you
saw
the
Beavis
fire
and Butthead.
episode.
I saw the Beavis and Butthead do the universe. I've watched both seasons of it. Yeah, I really enjoy the new Beavis and Butthead. I actually think it's better than the original.
And I told a lot of people, I'm like, you got to watch it because it's still Beavis and Butthead, but they're set in our time now, and it's really like when they watch the TikToks and stuff. Oh, it's hilarious. But but I mentioned that because there was the episode where Beavis actually met fire, fire.
The giant fire. Yeah, they had a couple Beavis episodes.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it a lot. I watched every episode. Like I said, I think I like it better because I think now, like back then it was the 90s and Mike Judge just kind of did stupid shit. And I feel like the new Beavis and Butthead is a little bit more intelligent. Not that they're more intelligent, but the comedy is a little more intelligent.
The comedy, yeah.
And I love Do the Universe. I love Smart Beavis and Smart Butthead. Did you watch the movie Do the Universe?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like humorous. Yes, very humorous. Jovial. It's like, and then one of my favorite scene from the Do the Universe. What the hell?
That's what they warned us about.
Oh yeah.
The test thing. I just got it on my phone
to be
too.
While we're on the podcast.
Yep.
Yeah, I hear it on yours too.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I guess I have heard stuff. Oh, I forgot to shut off my phone. The government. Let's see. What was a conspiracy theory I heard? Is that awakened something in the virus or the COVID shot that I got.
Oh yeah,
now I'm going to become a COVID zombie.
I heard I heard that it was a test. I heard it was a test for when they strike us with the what's the thing that takes out the technology, the EMPs or whatever those are called.
EMP device.
Yeah. They said that's what that test is for. So is when they attack with EMPs. I guess that's what.
I gotcha.
That's another conspiracy theory.
It's gonna
suck. Beavis and Butthead will save us. It's fine. They'll save us.
But yeah, no, Beavis and Butthead that they go into a college. I love the when they go into college and the woman claims she's like, well, I'm sure your father is very powerful, and Butthead's like, you know my father? And then they leave there learning out what white privilege is. They're like, we have white privilege. Excuse us, we got white privilege. Like, I didn't know about this either, but gotta do it. It's white privilege.
Yeah, it's great stuff, and you're right. It's more intelligent of a series now for sure. And I tell people about it all the time, and I'm like, you got to watch Do the Universe first, and then you can see how they ended up, where they are now. And I like the episodes too, like when they do old Beavis and Butthead.
Oh yeah,
when they're all fat and out of shape, and yeah, it's good stuff. But anyway,
and they're still virgins.
Yep, some things never change, All right, well, we know what's next, and even watching the promo, we got a little promo for the main event, and something just does not sound right about evil dude love, right? Am I wrong? Like this is like you said.
I'm waiting for this.
Corporate dude love. It just sounds, interesting. Like you said, you could have went Cactus Mankind. Heck, you could have even went Mick Foley, but no, I want dude love to be my.
You know what I think of when I think of evil dude love? That fucking Carol Baskin. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
To be fair, it is kind of silly, but to be fair, if I remember right, they kind of took this story and from the fact that Dude and Austin were tag champs, and I think that's how they built it. Is like Dude was trying to get the team back together or whatever, or something to that effect. So I think that's why they picked Dude Love, is just because they have the tag titles and then whatever happened. But it's still kind of weird. But it doesn't mean the match won't be good because it's Mick Foley and Stone Cold. So I don't care which Mick Foley. I mean, I do though, because it makes a difference. And I think you agree with me. He wrestles a little different depending on which character he is. Which sounds crazy because it's the same guy, but he does change his style a little bit depending on who he is. So we'll see how corporate Dude Love is. Let's check it out.
Okay.
I have no words. Uh,
Cool cats and kittens.
cool cats and kittens. And I've heard of her, but I gotta say, to this day, I've never, ever, ever seen any of Tiger King ever.
Look,
Just
it was
like,
the pandemic.
yeah, and
I was
everybody
living
watched
with
it,
my cousins, and we watched the first season. Now, I didn't watch the second season.
Yeah.
I was gonna watch that comedy. Like, they made a TV show with Kate McKinnon as Carol Baskins.
Yeah, they did. Yep, yep.
I have it on my Peacock on my list, but I haven't watched it.
Right, yeah. But I remember how big of a thing it was during the pandemic. I just was working through the whole pandemic, so I didn't get into the whole. But I've seen it. I mean, I know of Carol Baskins and of him, and I've seen stories and stuff. I've just never actually watched any of the shows.
It was,
but
I barely ever watch documentaries, but I watched it, and it's so damn ridiculous. And honestly, like, I do want to watch the show mainly because I do love Kate McKinnon.
Me too.
But
Me too.
Honestly, like, I don't know how the show is going to be any more ridiculous than the actual documentary.
One of those,
the truth.
One of those rare things where Hollywood can't exaggerate it and make it better than it is.
No, oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous. Carol Baskin's insane. Joe Exotic is fucking insane. Like, it was just insane. I don't.
I know Joe.
I only haven't watched the sequel because I don't really watch documentaries, and it just kind of was a time when I was living with my cousin, and we all just watched it together, and it was just like, what the fuck is this insanity?
What are we watching right now? Yeah, I get it.
I mostly wanted to understand the memes that I was seeing all over the place on Facebook.
Because they were everywhere.
All over the place.
Yeah. It was one of the
I've never
biggest...
gonna financially recover from this. That was a fun one.
Yeah, I do remember all that for sure. All right, well, cats and kittens and dudes and dudettes, here's our main event, and it's the World Heavyweight title match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bad Dude Love.
Actually, you know what? I made this joke because of the evil Dude Love.
Yeah.
But really, you can't see a little bit of similarities between Dude Love and Carol Baskins? Like, is Dude Love not a male Carol Baskin?
Not only that, if you notice in this pay-per-view that he put highlights in his hair too. He's got like blonde highlights, so he looks even more like Carol because he's corporate Dude Love. So he thought he had to, put some highlights.
Got to do the tips.
You know what? I don't care what character he is. The great thing is it's Mick Foley, and he let Steve Austin whoop that ass and took crazy bumps. Like, this main event had everything. First of all, if you didn't grow up in this era or you haven't watched this stuff and you don't know how over Stone Cold Steve Austin was, watch him come out at any pay-per-view and listen to that crowd. I'm just saying, it makes the reaction to this guy sound small. I'm just saying, Stone Cold might have been the most popular wrestler ever, in my opinion. And with the storyline and Stone Cold style, I'm sitting here watching this match going, and I know we've talked about it before, but I still get these thoughts like, we all love Stone Cold, and he was not a face at all. Like,
no.
At all. He just did whatever the hell he wanted to do, and we liked it. Like, he did some real heel stuff in this match and all his matches, which just made his character that much better. It all just came again down to this common, beer guzzling, hunting, everyday guy is taking on his boss, and everybody's behind it. And it was a great match. It really was. Like, I thought, Dude Love and Stone Cold, I don't know, but it was a good, hard-hitting match. And then once Austin and his goons came out, we got the other part of the story. I thought the whole thing was done really well. There was that part where Vince was, dude had the mandible claw on, but the ref was out. Was the ref out when Vince was trying to get him? Yeah, and the ref was trying to get, or Vince was trying to get the timekeeper to ring the bell, and he wasn't even looking at Vince. Like, he wouldn't acknowledge him because he doesn't want that Stone Cold ass whooping.
He didn't want that.
Coming his way.
He didn't want that smoke.
He don't want none of that smoke or all that smoke. I mean, these guys fought up to the stage just like Kane and Taker did. Stone Cold threw Foley off the stage onto the concrete floor. Yeah, it looked like it hurt. I know it's the same guy that went off the top of the Hell in a Cell, but still, that doesn't mean Stone Cold suplexed Foley into the stairs. That one looked like it hurt. When Vince first came out, he had him wrapped in the corner, and he was just doing the old, take the leg and go across the post. And yeah, it was good. good old-fashioned Stone Cold. The Stone Cold and Vince McMahon stories, like one of the best ever in wrestling. And yeah, it was a good time. It was a slobber knocker, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Indeed.
It was a slobber knocker. And Vince took a heck of a chair shot, so applause to you too, Vince. Like that, and he sold it great. He sold that he was dead after that chair shot, so that takes some acting, right? I don't think Vince McMahon moved one time from the time that he took that chair shot till they got out there and put him on that stretcher. I didn't see him move at all. Like he sold the hell out of
Vince
that
look
chair
at
shot.
Stone Cold like, just do it real. Just knock me out.
Yeah, like Shamrock. Give me the real one. I don't want any of that fake stuff. Just give me the real one. It looked like a hard chair shot, and it kind of looked like it hit funny, but Vince wasn't busted open, so I guess he was okay, because for a minute I thought that corner might have caught Vince in the head. But the ref was down, the chair came into play, and when Stone Cold got it, yeah, he took out Vince. When they got back in the ring, he hit a stunner, and he pinned Dude Love, and he counted his own pin, and the match was over, and he was still champ. He didn't need a ref, he just counted the pin himself.
Yeah.
Isn't that the way you do it? Who needs a referee?
Sometimes that's just what you got to do.
That was a great sell too. Like, I'm not saying the ref didn't get clothesline, but that ref also played dead very well. Like, he acted like you would have thought JBL gave him a clothesline from hell. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He never moved again either, which takes some skill. Of course, afterwards, Stone Cold's celebrating and everything, and then they feel the need to tell us that Stone Cold got disqualified for hitting Vince with a chair. Doesn't matter, he's still champ either way. So he walks out with the title. But yeah, I thought it was a good way to end the pay-per-view. The crowd was into it the entire time. There was plenty of good action, and of course, the Vince McMahon story, that all just made it hotter. Even the subtle stuff like showing us footage of the timekeeper looking at Vince, and Vince is staring at him, all those little things in there that keep telling this story. It was good stuff. I liked it. It was a good main event.
It was.
Yeah. It was a great way to end a pay-per-view.
I enjoyed it all the way. I enjoyed it a lot, actually.
Yeah. Again, story has a lot to do with it. I was a little like, I don't know about Dude Love, but, it worked. It worked. It did. And he's trying to play off like he's the pretty boy. I don't know. It's great. That's something I loved about the Dude Love characters. Like, he's supposed to be like a Shawn Michaels ripoff. Sorry, Mick, you were definitely not a ladies' man. That's not it. It's not. I mean, maybe now. I think that's the dad bods are in now, right? So maybe he would be now. He would be the right time. Except McFoley looks like Santa Claus now, so I don't know if that's going to. By the way, I love the graphic. Is that an action figure, or is that from a Austin? Is that
just some kind of art that I found?
It's very cool.
It was really cool looking.
Wasn't sure if it was just like somebody's art, or if that was he's got some sweat.
I just found some art on the internet. Thought it was cool. Used that as the graphic.
I like it. Yeah,
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It is. Dude Love is art too, or some kind of graphic or art or whatever.
Right. That looks like it might be one of the screenshots from one of the video games for when they release characters. That's what that looks like. That might be.
That might be what it is.
Yeah, that could be. But yeah, I like it. I dig it.
I was looking up Stone Cold Steve Austin pictures, came across that one. I'm like, we're gonna use that one because it looks cool.
Nice. All right, well, as far as this goes as a main event, like I said, I thought it was good, very entertaining. Stone Cold's the man. That's just all there is to it. And this right here is going to launch us into a whole nother level of the WWF with him and the Mr. McMahon feud. And it was a great way to cap off a pay-per-view. I'm going to give it 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 fingers.
I'm going to give it a 4 Dude fucking Love.
Dude fucking
Instead
love.
of Carol fucking Baskins.
That's why it's, dudes and dudettes, right? Instead of cats and kittens or whatever the hell she said. I don't know.
It's cool cats and kittens.
Cool cats and kittens. Oh,
hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Cool cats and kittens.
I'm Carol fucking Baskins.
Carol Baskins and Dude Love. All right, well, overall, not a bad pay-per-view, and I think we got to pick some matches.
We do.
Favorite match of the night.
Favorite match of the night, and to be honest, there were Two I was going back and forth with, and that was the Triple H and Owen match and the main event. And just by a slight edge, I am going to pick the main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Dude Love. And a lot of it has to do with the story involved with the chairman, and now that Vince is out and he's the character and the owner, that just added just a little more, edged out the game just a little bit. So yeah, I'm picking the main event.
I'm kind of in the same boat, and I think I'm going to choose Triple H only because you picked the main event.
Makes sense, right?
I feel like if you would have picked the Triple H match, I would have probably picked the main event because both were pretty damn good. Had fun stories.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that we both gave both. I know I gave both of them a 4. So I mean that shows you right there.
I think I did too, actually.
Yeah, that those were definitely the best match, and they both had great stories. And I do love DX, so either one would have been a great choice for sure.
We also had China in a cage, so that was always fun.
That she hawked out of, broke out of. So yeah, so yeah, definitely.
I liked that one just for the ridiculousness of everything.
Yeah, dude, like it was because the file didn't work, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say fucking rip the bars up. So both were good choices. Definitely the two best matches on the card for sure.
Agreed.
Wonder what the worst could be. I twist my mustache. I don't have one though.
Worst match of the night.
All right. Well, since technically I cannot pick Jeff Jarrett's performance with Sawyer Brown as the worst match of the night, I would go that route, but I can't do that because it was not actually a match. So I am going to go with the NWA Tag Team title match between the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express. That's my pick.
So I was debating on that and the one that I picked as the greatest match of all time. Because if I objectively look at it, it wasn't exactly a great match. We just enjoyed the outcomes.
Right.
And that is the lingerie match. But as for actual wrestling, it was not great. It was literally just an excuse. And, maybe a drop, an insult to feminism. So, I think I'm going to go with the lingerie match.
Hey.
I didn't think the NWA tag team match was that bad. And even though I am your typical male and I can't say that I hated what I saw in the lingerie match, it wasn't a good match. And it is a bit insulting for feminism. And don't worry, we will get many more insults to feminism.
Oh yeah, we haven't even started to insult them yet.
Yeah, we barely have the tip in, so it's about to go full penetration on insulting to feminism here.
I'm gonna guess we have a year or two before we get like actual matches. We're gonna get a lot of bra and panty and crap like that right now. It's gonna be a minute before we get actual women's matches.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while before we start getting Trish Stratus and
Lita and
when they actually do
start to wrestle. In fact,
I don't remember. I think they might have been involved in a couple storylines where they had to, be objectified like that.
Oh, still, that's still
I don't think it happened as much with Lita and Trish because they realized we actually have some good wrestlers here, and we don't need to use them that way. We can use them as actual wrestlers.
Yeah. Yep. So, and it'll be fun to see them all come in too and see where they came from. Like, man, I remember the first person Lita was with was S.A. Rios. And I don't know if anybody remembers that guy, but that's who Lita comes in with as a manager. And
I thought Trish, it was straight up the Hardy Boys.
No. And of course, Trish was a online internet model, not a nude model, but she was, an internet sensation before she became a wrestler. So that'll be interesting to see all that stuff develop for sure. We did it. We made it through another show. This is only our first Unforgiven, so we will not be ranking them yet.
Yeah.
I looked ahead and they're trying to really frustrate me again because I'm pretty sure there's only 11 Unforgivens. You couldn't do one more. Couldn't do one more. I have a real problem with these odd numbers or not done that extra one. I don't know. Like you couldn't have. But I'm sucking at my job. I want to see what we're going to be doing next week.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it is another. It's Over the Edge.
Over the Edge.
Technically another In Your House, but it's not under In Your House because it becomes its own pay-per-view. Yeah, unfortunately, Over the Edge only happens twice, and we know why.
I don't think we're doing. Yeah, I know, but
so
I think we're only doing when we start re-ranking In Your Houses, I would say is not till NXT brings it back.
Yep, that's it. Yep. So
because all these other ones are mainstay pay-per-views that just have In Your House as it's like they weren't ready to give it up yet.
And to me, when we get to NXT, to me that's we will rank them, but that's going to be like I wouldn't put those with the other In Your Houses because that's NXT and it's a whole nother.
Switch it, do like NXT ranking In Your Houses.
That's what I think.
That's fair.
That's my opinion.
Fair.
Like we shouldn't put those with the old schools.
I think we got a ways to go on that, but
we do. But all right, well, I guess it's time to plug some pluggables.
It is time to plug some pluggables. You can find me at Dragon Blazer Productions on Facebook, the Instagram, the YouTube, the TikToks, and for the time being, you can find me on X at Dragon Blazer Pro.
As long as we don't have to start paying for it, Of course, you can follow us on.
Until you give me hush money, I ain't paying no X.
That's right.
And so far, nobody's been offering that hush money.
Nope, no hush money yet.
Nobody's breaking down the doors to give us hush money. So,
nope, not yet.
So, that is what it is.
You can, of course, check out the show on the Boomer and Blaze Facebook page. You can follow us at Boomer_Blaze on the Instagram and the X. And, of course, at Boomer and Blaze Show on the TikToks. And, of course, don't forget there's the YouTube. Don't forget the YouTubes. And please, oh, look at that. He's sharing my little social media. There you go. There's where you can follow us. And we got our YouTube page, of course. And please, wherever you listen to us, Spotify, iTunes, wherever, let's get those reviews. Let's get those 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars.
5 stars.
We'll take some feedback, too. Look,
you can
make
do
some
5
comments.
Stars. Yeah.
Make some comments. We don't even care. They don't always have to be positive. You can make any kind of comments you want. I would love to interact with you. Like I said, I did it today on Facebook. Someone stated their opinion about Edge to AEW, and I stated mine back. I haven't checked to see if maybe he interacted again, but we're all about interaction. Positive, negative, let us know what you think. Let us know what you think of the show. Opinions about anything. We want to hear it. We don't care. We want to hear it all.
If you're on Apple, you can put in reviews along with those 5 stars. If you're on Spotify, you can do 5 stars, but you can also I have a poll, or not a poll, it's something like a poll where it asks you every time on every episode, what did you think of the episode?
Yep, that's there every time.
So you can put on some comments of what you think of the show, what you think about that particular, maybe you want to talk about a match from the show that we talked about. Maybe you disagree with our assessment.
Right.
Maybe the lingerie match wasn't the worst match of the night, and you want to yell at me.
Yeah.
Because I am fighting for feminism, I guess. I don't know. Am I really fighting, though? Because I still enjoyed it, but...
That's because you haven't seen the lingerie match involving Gold Dust yet. Just wait till that happens, and then you'll be...
Hey, I ain't sexist. That's fine.
I ain't sexist. Bring it on. All right. Well, next week then we have...
Manonism?
Manonism? Men matter too. We matter.
Yeah.
We matter too.
Yeah. We get objectified too, gosh darn it.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily me, but
or me, but whatever. Do. But some men do.
Poor Chris Hemsworth had to take off his shirt for the Thor, and now he gets objectified as a sexy man.
Yeah, and that's horrible.
Yes, he is crying, using his $1,000 bills to wipe away the tears.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Okay, now I'm being a dick, because yes, there is a thing called objectifying men, but still, or women, whatever. I don't know. This is going off the rails.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Come back. I'm trying to reel him back in, guys. Hold on.
I
don't
can't
know
tell if we're woke or anti-woke or what right now.
I don't know what the hell we are.
I feel like we're just all over the place, or by we, I mean me. So, let's just end this.
You know what we are? What we are is we are the Boomer and Blaze Show, and we'll see you next week. And until then, I am Boomer.
I'm Blaze.
And good night from Dragon Blazer Studios. Stay woke.
Good transition.
Stay woke.
Stay woke. Or don't.
Or don't. I don't care.
Yeah,
whatever.
We're anti-woke, I think. Or
I don't
something.
know.
I don't know.
Is it nap time? Bye.
All right. We're getting ready to objectify more women as we go. Let's go.
Bye bye.
Hey everyone, this is Blaze from the Raging Blaze and the Boomer and Blaze Show. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more wrestling content.